All right, everyone. Welcome to this daily Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for Wednesday, August 8th, 2018. All right, so today we have the moon shifting into Gemini, so we could notice themes today around communication, maybe learning practical things, and just bring in a bit of that flexibility that Gemini helps us develop. So we are in the ending phase of the lunar cycle, so we are likely noticing energies dying down for what will be a new moon on Saturday. And we are easing up off of Venus trine Mars from yesterday. So maybe still today a bit of confidence in those relationships, maybe a bit of harmony there, a good balance between the yin and yang aspects of ourselves. But today Venus is going to be opposite up to Chiron. So maybe some healing in those relationships today. Usually with this, a bit of mirroring perhaps in terms of what we can heal for ourselves within. So along with this, the sun is going to be conjunct Mercury retrograde. So we could have a bit of this kind of fire behind our thinking today. Maybe very expressive, very creative as well. So finding the balanced way of working with that is great. So let's take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. All right, so here's the sky for this Wednesday. Again, we are using what's called true sidereal astrology, which is using the actual size of the constellations, which is different from mainstream astrology. So if you are new to the channel, check out that link down below for more information. All right, so Gemini, the moon in the sign of the twins here today. This constellation has everything to do with synergy in life. This could be, of course, at an interpersonal level. We could notice themes today about the importance of communication, give and take, and just in general, getting into the synergy of life, getting into our flexibility, our adaptability, our willingness to learn, be curious. Could be an excellent day for learning about practical things, maybe picking up that book, maybe doing some writing, things like this. Excellent with the moon here. So we are closing out this current lunar month. We will be gearing up for a new moon on Saturday. So we are technically now in the balsamic phase, which is the ending phase of the current cycle. So it's always a good time now as we approach Saturday to do some clearing, right? To maybe reflect on the previous month, lunar cycle, release, let some things go within, create some space in our life, maybe get some rest, right? To also create space for what will likely be subtle new beginnings over the weekend, but especially going into next week. So let's go and talk about this conjunction we have between the Sun and Mercury. As you can see here in the aspects, Mercury retrograde is going to be going over the Sun now. And this will be in the later part of the day going into tomorrow, but we'll likely feel this all day as Mercury gets close. So this is it's a neutral energy inherently of itself, but it is a bit fiery when it comes to the mental aspects of things. I feel like with the theme today around Gemini, these sort of same things that Mercury rules, which is like communication and our thinking patterns. When Mercury's, in this case, in front of the Sun like this can be a lot of this fire coming through our minds. It can also be, it can almost be like we're short-circuited or a bit of scattered thinking, right? That kind of fried circuits kind of thing, because the Sun does take the dominant energy. So anything we can do to be conscious of our thinking patterns, to be conscious of our communication, whatever we're doing on a daily level, even though that energy might be a bit, again, unconscious or in the back burner because the Sun is taking the dominant energy. As we bring that conscious attention to these maybe unconscious patterns, thinking, communication, etc., that can help balance this out. And as we do that as well, finding the practical way of working with this is excellent, like writing things down, maybe journaling, expressing ourselves, right? Anything that does help get these, again, the mental energy and communicative stuff into tangible form, into conscious form. Really, really good with this. And there can be a lot of creative energy actually with this, especially with both planets here in Leo. So the Sun is shifting more into Leo. We will likely notice a theme over the next month plus regarding our self-expression, cultivating that, and in this case, gaining energy from doing things that we find fun, creative, expressive, these types of things that invoke that inner flame. All right, so that's very important today, arguably the most important thing we've got today, but we also do have Venus opposite up to Chiron, and she is easing up off of this trine with Mars. So from yesterday, if you did feel a bit of this synergy in interpersonal relationships, in relating with others, this balance between the yin and yang aspects of life, it's still great, still definitely an orb today, probably becoming integrated today, where we're doing that. There is a bit of maybe harmony in those relationships, a bit of flow, maybe confidence, good mutuality with Venus in good aspect. And then as we get into the rest of the day, though, Venus is going to be opposite up to Chiron. So Chiron is the planet of healing. And so in this case, with oppositions, usually that does represent a sort of mirroring effect in our relationships. And so healing, Chiron, does bring up wounds. So there can sometimes be a bit of a mirroring in our interpersonal connections that does bring up maybe some things that we can do some healing within, personally. So really good day for doing healing, especially if it's reflected back to us in relationships, especially if it's about relationships. All full moons are a good time to do this sort of status check, right, with things, and in this case, maybe the healing regarding our perspective of relationships. And also Venus does, rule things like our self-worth, our self-value. So maybe doing some healing with those things can be excellent if you don't notice that it's more in the interpersonal realm for you. All right, so those are the most important things. That's the theme of the day, Sun and Mercury conjunct, Mercury retrograde. So still good to be flexible and adaptive, right? Especially with the moon in Gemini today, right? Get into a bit of that willingness to learn, be curious, bring some conscious attention to the mind, thinking patterns, the day-to-day routine. If there is a bit of that fire energy, right, or just energy in general behind what we're thinking or communicating, finding the constructive ways of working with that. If there isn't any awareness of thinking, which is also likely the case, bringing that conscious attention there as well, right? Really good with that. Expressing ourselves with the Leo energy. And today, maybe doing some healing with those relationships or about relationships with Venus opposite Chiron. All right, so have a fantastic day, everyone. Thank you again for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, and I will see you all tomorrow for the daily forecast.